Welcome back to Helmersoft. You're watching Infoways.
Alright. I want to say something important. I want to talk about humanity. I want to talk about being tired of trying to be someone else, trying to pretend to be squeaky clean, or to follow a trend, or to think a certain way, or do things a certain way. Everyone is the same. I talked about this in a video before, but this one is way better, so listen to me now. And I have a quote here. I thought of it last night. When you go to such great lengths to hide your natural ways, you start thinking that there's something wrong with them. Well, there's not. There's nothing wrong with me, and there's nothing wrong with you, I'm sure of it. So don't try to pretend like there is, and don't be ashamed of yourself. And that's what I'm trying to do here. The problem is, you come off as unconfident, stiff, unnatural, and then nobody trusts you, not even yourself. And I'm not gonna let that happen. I'm fighting it. I'm fighting for my life!
Rah! Rah! Infoways.
Alright, anyway, so let's talk about today's agenda. I'm going to list the main items for today and go through what we're going to do. But first I need to drink some water because that really hurts your throat. I've done a few takes of the Alex Jones bit and my throat hurts so much. So this is going to have to be it. If that means doing a lot of cuts, so be it. Alright, Skyways review. That's the first point. We're going to talk about what I've done since last. We're going to talk about what exactly Skyways is, and this is going to be a very clear and concise description. I've talked about it before, but now it's going to be very clear. I'm going to be able to link this segment of the video, and everyone will understand. Then I'm going to talk about my time management, how I divide up my day, and I'm going to reflect on how I've done it so far in order to see how I'm going to move on and do it in the future. And then I'm going to talk about what's coming on November 17th. And that's a big point. That's a very big point. Because we all saw the video about it. It is coming. November 17th. Well, what is coming? You're going to see. And then we're going to talk about the war against weakness. Now this is something that I've invented, but it's something that I've experienced involuntarily. I've only named it, and we'll get into that. I think that's going to be very interesting, and then we'll just round off the show. So let's get on with the agenda. Alright, let's get on with this sort of Skyways review. In Skyways, since last, I've worked on most of the same features that were already there, but I've improved them a lot. Now, I've done a lot of level editing. I've worked a lot on cleaning up the code, or in other areas dirtying up the code, just to get some functionality done. This is how programming works. But I've worked on the transmitters. I've made them destructible, and I've worked on the tapes. Tapes are these videotapes that you find, and then you can watch them. I've worked on the whole layout of the game, the story, the flow of the game, how it's played. And in general I've done bug fixing, I've done improvements, I've improved the graphics, I've added a lot of sound effects. I'm sure I'll show a clip or something, and we'll see what's worth showing and what's worth seeing once we get to the next point. By the way, if you want to know more about the features I've made and the updates I'm making to the game as they are made, you should join my Discord server, link in description. It's a very fun place. We're a nice community, more and more people joining all the time. We have all sorts of updates and images and discussions, and you can learn more than you could learn about Skyways there than anywhere else. now it's time to explain clearly and concisely what exactly Skyways is. Right. Skyways is a 3D sci-fi FPS game. That much is clear. It's a sort of shooter and a platformer, and you play as a young space recruit named Courtney, and your mission, is to find these transmitters on different planets and activate them again. This mission was assigned to you by the President of the United States in the year 2998, and there is a lot to discover, and there are no arrows telling you that you have to go in a certain way or do a certain thing. It's about space exploration. Now, the game is not procedurally generated. It is the same levels every time, but there is a lot to explore, and there's a lot of fun to be had. And though you might not get as many hours of content from it as you might from another game, you'll still have a lot of fun with the time you do spend, and you won't be wasting your time doing nonsense. Right, that's what Skyways is. Now, let's talk about my time management. Let's hold me accountable, right? What if I'm just sitting around most of the day? What if I'm just sitting here by the computer, just doing nonsense, going on YouTube, watching Brian Shaw and Judy Mufu or whatever? What if I'm not doing anything productive at all? Hardly. I've sometimes felt like that's the case, but I've reflected upon this a lot, and I've had to think about it, and it's not really true. I'm working hard. However, I divide up my time in a very unconventional way because it's my natural way. I think phrasing it in terms of my working out is the most helpful and easy to understand way of doing this. Right. So I work out 4 times a week. With everything around it, it takes maybe about 2 hours to set everything up, work out, and you'll be done with it. Put everything away per workout. Some days a bit less, but more or less so. And this means that on those days, of course, I can't spend as many hours working on Skyways. Furthermore, I sleep a lot. If I sleep 8 hours, that's excellent for some people. A lot of people don't get even 8 hours. If I sleep 8 hours, I feel like I've hardly slept. And I think that's because I work out so hard, and maybe because I work so hard on the game itself. But I sleep a lot, 10, 11, sometimes 12 hours a day. That might sound quite unproductive, but I'll get into it. Alright. So I eat big, I sleep big, I train big, and I'd like to think I work big too, right? Me make big Skyways work game. Yeah, so anyway, when I do work on the game, which is most days, I have a list of things to do, and I make sure that I fix or check off at least 1 point, usually at least 2 per day. And I don't say, oh, I'm gonna take a break, and I think, oh, this is such hard work, I don't want to do this. No, I think it's fun. Even though I've been working on this game for over 2 years now, I still think it's fun. It's exhausting at times, but I still think it's fun. And so I don't quit. I don't say, okay, it's 5 p.m, time to stop. No, I keep going. I'll go on until dinner, really. So I think overall I've done quite well, but it's not really fair to just go and say, oh, congratulate myself or pat myself on the back. Like, no, I've made mistakes. I've wasted time. I definitely have. I've often sat and done other things, and this is something that I'm proud of conquering, honestly. I've spent so much time watching unnecessary YouTube videos or just browsing Discord and whatever, but it's not productive, and you can convince yourself it is, and maybe you can't even, or you don't, but you still do it because it's an addiction. But I've figured out a very good way of doing it. I don't use my smartphone at all anymore. In fact, this is my phone. This is where my SIM card is. There's some racing game on there, but I don't think I'm going to be wasting any time on this phone anyway. I've blocked the home and explore tabs on YouTube, and I've also set out a set of rules for me to follow, and if I don't follow them, basically there's a streak of how many days I'll follow these rules, and it's reset if I break one of the rules, however long the streak is by Christmas Eve is 10 crowns per day of the streak, is how much money I get to spend on something useless. Now, it was hard coming up with an incentive, but seeing it as a sort of Christmas present for myself, buying something unnecessary, not useless because I'm gonna use it, but buying something like that is really motivating me to say, okay, well, I don't want to break these rules, I don't want to lose that, so I'm gonna follow the rules. I'm not gonna use the phone, I'm not going to use a laptop at home, etc, etc. There's a lot of stuff in there, and it's a very productive document. And I think that's enough about my time management. We went on for a while there, so let's talk about the big point, the big title of this video, the main course here. What's coming on November 17th? A demo. A demo is coming on November 17th. I know that's not really what I implied at all. Alright, and if you're disappointed, that's fine. I'm a little disappointed too, but I don't regret this decision. I don't want more disappointment, because the demo is not going to cost anything. It's going to come up on itch.io, on the helmersoft.itch.io website, and it's going to be a way for you to play the game and see what it's all about without having to pay, and seeing what it's like, seeing what I've done so far, and not just hearing words. I've done these builds long in the past, but that's so far removed from what I've got now, and I really want you guys to get your hands on the game. But I'm not happy with the game yet. It hasn't lived up to its full potential. It's good. I can say that honestly. It is good, but it's not good enough yet. I'm not happy yet. And I don't want to release some sort of subpar product at an exuberant price. Right? I've talked about price before with some people, maybe not on the channel, but I've talked about it, and I've talked about €15, $15 maybe. Though I've never been that precise about it. And I've always gotten the same response: oh, if I had money, oh, that's quite expensive, and I'll have to say, oh, there'll be a Christmas sale, but even then, I've realised, well, okay, I'm just one guy, I'm making this game. It doesn't have as much content as other games. There's no time for me to make all that content. There's not enough. It hasn't quite lived up to its full potential yet anyway. So what I'm thinking is, I'm creating the structure, right, where I'm releasing this free demo, and then when I release this launch version 1.0 of Skyways, it will be quite cheap. I don't know exactly how much, a few dollars, a few euros, and then as updates come out and the game becomes more expansive and more polished and so on, the price will go up. and that will allow you, especially with the demo there, to check out what it's all about. It will allow you to see, okay, is this something I want? Should I get in on this early? You know, this is something that I think will work very well. So, Skyways will be released on Steam once the full version is out. I have a promise that I want to make to you. I want to promise you that I'm not gonna let you buy an unfinished game. I'm not gonna let you pay full price for something that's not good enough, and I'm not gonna give up on this game. I'm not gonna surrender. I'm not gonna say, okay, it's fine, it's playable, it has bugs, it's not quite what I wanted, but you know, let's move on, let's make another one that's not quite what I wanted. That's not gonna be how I build a career. That's not gonna be how I build, you know, up my integrity, my brand, and I'd be ashamed of myself. I couldn't do that. I would be very ashamed of myself. I've been working, by the way. Today I've written up what's left to do and what needs to be done for the launch version, and I mean it's palatable. It's not, or palpable, or whatever you want to call it. It's not a never-ending list or anything, but there is a lot of work, and I don't want to rush this game. I don't want to feel like I left something important out, like I made, like it's an unfinished project, and then you play it, and then once the update comes out that has the stuff, you feel like, wait a minute, that's not what I played, that's not what I spent my mental energy on, that I invested myself into. And that's, again, why I'm doing the demo. So, and another reason, of course, is the demo will help with bug fixing, because you'll be able to tell me, okay, in the demo it does this, and that's not good. Or you can tell me, okay, in this version of the Steam release, it doesn't work very well. And of course, if you want to do bug fixing, you should check out the Discord server in the description. It's a very good place to be, it's very fun. You can report bugs, you can post memes. We're a very friendly place. We don't silence people. We don't talk about, you know, politics, only for fun. And you can report all sorts of bugs, rather than, you know, dissidents. So now let's talk about the war against weakness. All right, and this is an important point. This is not about physical weakness, although I've been battling that as well and winning. But you know, it's about, you know, how when I first started making Skyways, when I started this channel in 2019, I didn't really know how big of a project it would be. I knew it would be a big project, but I didn't know everything it would be entail. I couldn't see into the future. I didn't know I'd be sitting here doing this. I didn't know what the game would be like. I had a vision. I explained it, and some of it, as you can hear in the old Skyways reviews, has changed quite a bit. And you know, but I realized that this growth of Skyways, how it's evolved over time, you know, that's really helped me become a better man myself. I wouldn't call myself a man back then, though I was over 18. I wouldn't call myself a man. I hadn't yet grown, I hadn't yet learned, but now I am a man. Now I realize, you know, the importance of responsibility, the meaning of responsibility. I've made so many insights. I've gone through so much personal development, just as I've gone through a lot of game development. You see the parallel here, right? It's two things that go together. Like, so it's about the mindset, all right? It's about the mindset. Oof. It's about not surrendering, not giving in to lesser results, not letting myself be weak. It's about being responsible, being a man, going through the trudge, going through the really difficult stuff that you don't want to go through. It's about coming through on the other side. It's about facing your fears, becoming a man. And it's a war against myself. And that's what's really important here. It's a war against myself. To stop, my own weakness is the only thing that's holding me back. And that's what I'm waging war against. I'm not gonna let myself be stopped by some compulsion to do something else, to watch YouTube videos or whatever else I want to do. I'm not gonna let myself give in to vice. I'm not gonna say, well, it's good enough. I'm not gonna give in to sloth. All my weaknesses are what I'm challenging here. I'm waging war against them. And I'm not gonna let them win. And I'm not letting them win. And I hope that can inspire you. And I'm not ashamed of saying this, and I'm not ashamed of talking about how this game development journey, this game development process has affected and is affecting me personally. Because that's very important. It's important to be who you are and be honest about it. And not to just pretend like you're like everyone else and that game development is the same story no matter who you are. And I hope it can inspire you to conquer your own challenges, whatever it is in life that might seem too hard. Maybe it can get you lifting weights. I have an obsession. Even my coasters are weights. Maybe it can get you finding a new job or finding your first job. Maybe it can find you, this mindset can find you love, can find you fulfillment, can find you everything you need and want in this world. You can be the best person you could ever possibly be. And that's what the mindset is all about. That's what Eric Bugenhagen talks about. He's not mad, he's crazy, but he's not wrong. And I hope that maybe I can inspire someone. So thank you for watching the InfoWays show today. This is the first one, and maybe there'll be another one, we'll see. This channel is all about making improvisational things and not making a lot of series, but rather making something that's opportunistic in terms of entertainment and enjoyment. So yeah, thanks for watching. You really should check out the Discord server. We can find all sorts of stuff about the game, where I post about it, where I post funny memes, and I post all sorts of good stuff, and there are more and more people there all the time. We're a nice community. Check us out, link in the description.